Live from Uvalde, Texas, the crossroads of Texas and America.
Texas Country at the Crossroads with Robert Miguel.
The best new country from the Lone Star State.
Alrighty, we are live at Broadway 830 100 East Main Street. Time for Texas Country at the Crossroads. Kind of a showcase here featuring the rising stars of Texas Country. They interview here on UvaldeRadio.net, and then they perform here at Broadway 830. So we're excited because we just talked to this young lady, a couple weeks ago in Arlington. Mm-hmm. And so we might have to come up with a fresh batch of questions here. But we've got for the first time here in Uvalde, actually in person, Miss Allora Leonard. Welcome.
Woo!
I'm excited to have you here in town.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I haven't been in Uvalde in a long time. I would come here for rodeos and
So you went to the Fairplex, I guess?
Yes,
That's
I did.
Cool.
I have lots of good memories there, and I haven't been here since I moved to Colorado several years ago. So it's good to be back.
Shout out to Uvalde County Fairplex, Wendy Spear, and all the fools over there. They're great people.
Yes.
And I should have let her know that you're. I'm going to text her off the air, let her know. But so that's cool that you've been to the Fairplex. So I was interested to see when people do come to Uvalde for whatever reason that is, and a lot of time it is the Fairplex.
Right.
Do you ever stick around, or is it kind of in and out? Have you ever spent any prolonged amount of time here, like went to a restaurant or hung out at a place where you're like, oh yeah, I used to stop at the Dairy Queen when I went to the rodeo, or do you just kind of...
and I might get the name wrong, but the Oasis.
Oh, the Oasis, yep.
Yeah, I have some good memories of being down there and looking for stuff. And
that place is awesome too.
Yes, it's awesome.
Just a salad bar alone is like pretty awesome.
oh my gosh, yes. But so I've spent some time there. But I mean, other than that, I spent a lot of time there at that complex, and we would have dinners there at the trailers, and I mean, lots of really great memories there growing up.
So very cool. No, I love it when you said lots of great memories growing up, like, because you're an old soul girl, like you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
But let's put this in perspective. You're 17, right?
Yes.
Growing up was just a few years ago. So let's go ahead and do the quick bio. I know we've heard your story a couple of times on the air, but you're a kind of a rodeo girl, rancher girl. So let's talk about that first of all.
Yes. I grew up in Hondo, Texas, which is 45 minutes down the road from here. And so I spent a lot of growing up raising cattle, and I competed on horses since I was about 3 years old, and I still do that. And so moved away from Hondo a few years ago, and I've kind of bounced around everywhere since then. But growing up there and being in the rodeos, I was exposed to lots of country music and lots of red dirt country, and I've always had a love for that. And
now, if I may, the bouncing around, is that from rodeo? Is that from your lifestyle? Was that parents' work, or what kept you moving around?
That was just moving around. Some of it was we love Colorado, and my parents have always wanted to have a place up there. And a few years ago, when I was about 10 years old, an opportunity opened up for us to get a place up there, and then a few years down the road, we moved there full time and stayed there for a few years. And then, long story short, we went to Tennessee, came back to Colorado. Now we're back in Texas. So it's been a whirlwind. But I mean, I'm glad to be back in Texas.
Now, interestingly enough, Texas has a great country scene. Obviously, Tennessee and Nashville, they've got a lot to offer.
Sure.
Rising musicians and the industry in general. But Colorado also has kind of a big love for Texas country in particular too.
Yes,
so
it does.
Was that is that by mistake, or was that by design? Any of that? How much of that plays into what you're doing in music now?
I mean,
when you're in Colorado, were you aware that they really love Texas country up there, I guess?
To be honest, I really didn't. However, in that same breath, in the town that I was in, Pagosa Springs, Colorado, which a lot of Texans go up there and visit, there were a lot of, I would say 70% of the population there is a bunch of Texans that have moved in. And so, all of them know who Aaron Watson is and Bree Bagwell and whatnot. So yes. There was definitely a bit of a love for it.
There are some more, I guess you could say, successful Texas country radio stations functioning out of Colorado than there are in Texas.
Oh yes, we saw them 2 weeks ago winning awards and stuff. Yeah. So there's definitely a great scene there.
So obviously, whenever you sing songs, of cowboys and ranching, this is all coming from real, true life experience.
Yes.
What else as far as and we talked about this before, but what exactly, I guess, was that inspired you to become, first of all, I guess, a singer-songwriter and then eventually a recording artist?
Sure. I grew up in church, and so I was always exposed to a lot of music. my dad and I would drive down to the family ranch in Laredo, and we would listen to George Strait and Hank Williams on repeat nonstop. But so I always loved music, and I always loved to sing. My parents could tell you I was not very good there for a few years, but so I was just loud. We'll just say that.
Right. She can project.
So well, there you go. She's got some lungs.
Yep.
But and doing rodeos and whatnot, I would, I always sung, and so I would sing to my horses before I would go in and, and compete. And once I got to a point where I started being able to hear pitch and all those, technical things, the staff would hear me and they'd be like, "Hey, she's pretty good. Let's just get this little girl up to sing the national anthem."
Because they're always looking for somebody to sing the national anthem.
Oh my gosh,
always,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but so I started just singing the national anthem at lots of rodeos, and then that led to me singing more at church. And then that just also led to me picking up the guitar when I was about 12 years old. Major snowball effect.
Once you get in front of a few audiences, then you become the go-to girl, right?
Oh, and then it just, major snowball effect. So, I just went from little old play day rodeo down in Sabinal to even singing in New York City. So, it's crazy what something small as that can grow into.
It's fantastic. And I think we talked about, too, like people like Kylie Fry and a lot of big names in Texas country started off that way. It seems to be more of the girls, because we love seeing a nice, pretty girl, a cute little girl sing the national anthem, and then just goes from there,
Oh, sure.
It's fantastic. So, and for a while, I'm sure that you were just like, the fact that you're in the rodeo anyway, you're already there. It's like, let's just get her to sign her up. It's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Well, again, we've got Allora Leonard here. Now, I don't know the poster that we were advertising said San Antonio. You were raised in Hondo, but where are you guys in Fredericksburg-ish? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, so we're in Fredericksburg. We're actually in the middle of moving right now. We're just moving right up the road and right in between Llano and Brady.
Okay,
it's in a little town called Fredonia. If you blink, you'll miss it.
Wow, very nice.
But yeah, so we'll be moving up to our new ranch up there here pretty soon.
That's very cool. So the family business, that's ranching and just kind of...
Well, it's just...
It sounds like your family has a lot going on, like in a lot of different places, huh?
Oh my gosh. Tell me about it.
You're like, please, make it stop.
Yes. But yeah,
but that's
we've
good
always,
though, right? For your career, it's probably good because you can have several home bases. And audiences,
it's been a great way for me to learn about different music, and it's been really great for my career. It's been really great also for me growing as a person, being exposed to different settings and whatnot. But I know my dad's family was in the meat packing business, and they had the L&H company that was out of San Antonio for many, many years. Closed that down a few years ago, and so our family's always loved raising cattle, and that's just how I grew up.
Well, very good. Again, we've got Allora Leonard here. She's performing tonight here at Broadway 830. The address is 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. It's a beautiful afternoon so far. Usually there's, the birds, they're really loud, like Alfred Hitchcock, weird, like horror movie loud. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the interview actually sounds, there's background noise. I like the ambience, but usually it's kind of freaky scary. So I think they've already gone a little further south or back up north. I don't know what part of the year we're in now, but
maybe I scared them away.
We'll be able to hear you better. So Allora's performing tonight at 7 o'clock. And like we said, 17 years old, you've already come so far, and you've got such an old soul. So let's go into your first single, and we'll talk about the brand new track in a minute.
Yes,
okay? So let's check it out. Allora Leonard, this is Old Soul Girl, and this is UvaldeRadio.net.
The dust on the North Road. I like a beat up Silverado. I like to ride with the windows rolled down. Feel the wind blow. I like the look of a stoplight town. I like the feel of a classic sound. I like taking the long way around. I'm telling you now, I'm an old soul girl living for the rodeo. Mama taught me how to two-step. Dance all down by the river. Hey, Joe.
Texas Country at the Crossroads with Robert Miguel. Live from Uvalde, Texas, the crossroads of Texas and America.
All right, we are back. UvaldeRadio.net, live at Broadway 830, Texas Country at the Crossroads, the interview series. Don't forget, next week we've got Eric Woodring doing the live interview and then a live performance here at Broadway 830. And then week after that, I believe it's Kendi Jean all the way from Fort Worth. So y'all make plans to listen to the interview and then come see the live performance here at Broadway. Again, I'm your host, Robert Miguel. We just heard Allora Leonard's Old Soul Girl, her debut single that came out at Texas radio, and I'm sure it's been picked up in other states as well. So,
Sure.
Allora, let's go talk about, we've kind of already reviewed this in past interviews, but just the experience of writing, recording, and then distributing, promoting your
Right.
your very first single. And at that time, you were 16-ish, 15, 16,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes, that's correct. We recorded Old Soul Girl and that whole record in August of 2020. And so, of course, that was amidst the pandemic, but it actually worked really good in our favor. It was a really, really great experience. I got to go up to Nashville and record that. And so being able to be around those musicians and that type of setting where I'm in the recording studio and there's pictures of records that Faith Hill did and
Right.
Taylor Swift. And so it was definitely a cool experience.
I mean, that
to get to do
itself
that.
is fantastic,
Oh
right?
my
Yeah.
gosh. I mean, just the fact that I was able to even be there in that studio.
Yeah, just the tourism aspect of
Oh
it
my
all. Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
absolutely.
But then to know that you're also
Oh.
creating something also within the same walls,
I
right?
just looked at that wall and I'm like, I'm not worthy. What am I doing here?
That's so cool. That is
It
so
was cool. And so being able to put out those songs and, write those songs with my producer, JT Hodges, it was so fun. It was so fun. And I learned so many things from that experience. And I'm glad that that song has been able to open so many doors for me in the Texas
and
industry.
it really is. I mean, I know, and of course I'm not going to name anybody, but I have dealt with artists that will be 3 or 4 singles in and still not accomplish, I guess, what you've already accomplished
Sure.
with your first one. It's interesting. My first coming across you, I believe, was because you were playing at Graf 7A Ranch, and I work with Ken and Lori to promote their shows as well.
They're
too.
great, yeah.
And they gave me your name, and I think I did some research and tried to get us some radios because I like to support what we're
Sure,
doing. And I remember
absolutely.
hearing the song and being like blown away, and they were like, "Yeah, this girl's like 15 or 16 or something like that." And I was like, "That can't be right. That can't be true." And then we talked, and I was like, "Wow." So you've already come so far. So we are
Thank
so
you.
proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I can only imagine how much further you're going to go. So then you got a new single, and in between all that, you were selected for the Future Faces show at
Yes.
the 12th Annual Texas Regional Radio Music Awards. Now, at the awards, we talked very briefly at the award
Yes.
ceremony. So let's go ahead and dig in a little bit deeper. I guess getting ready for the honor of performing in front of some of the industry's biggest and best names in hopes to perform at the actual award ceremony, which, wow, that was a pretty stellar event, dude. The production was fantastic,
That
wasn't
was
it?
awesome.
Yeah, it was
They
crazy.
did a great job.
So, man, if I was an artist, I would feel almost relieved if I didn't win. I'm just saying,
Yes,
So,
yes.
so tell me your thoughts on the whole experience from the start.
Yeah, so Debbie Green, my promoter, she had encouraged me to come, and I'm so glad that I did. It was my first time to be at the T3R Awards, and to be chosen as one of those 10 Future Faces, man, what an honor. That was so cool.
Now, do you know what criteria was involved, or how it is that your name came up? Do you have any idea?
Honestly, I don't completely know
Did Debbie tell you, or was it did Dave from the chart call you, or what was that? What was it? Were they like, "You're invited, you have to come," or were they like, "Would you like to come"? What was that process like?
Honestly, it was all so much of a whirlwind. I can't
You didn't
exactly
take notes?
remember everything, but I just remember Debbie asking if I would like to be a part of that, and as soon as I said yes, she was on it,
Yeah,
and then they needed pictures and they needed a bio, and there I was, and so that was cool. That was really cool, and man, those other artists that I was up there with, I mean, what talent, and just to be rubbing elbows with them, that was awesome, and to be around everyone from the Texas music industry, both artists and radio people, that was that was cool.
Now, as far as the other non-Future Faces, did you immediately go digging into them and seeing what they were about, were you familiar with any of them already going into it?
I kind of researched some of them before the event
That's
started.
what I do. I'd be like, let's see here.
It's like, let's stalk.
Right.
Let's do some stalking here.
Right.
But no, it was really funny how it all turned out. I got there, we were getting ready to do sound check, and I started talking to Brian, I started talking to Cynthia, and it just so happened that they were all in my set that I was going to be in, and
wow.
so we were all just like buddies up there, just enjoying getting to have each other's company and listen to each other's music, and so it was, I mean, really great people.
You know what they ought to do
around.
in the future? They should do one of these type of like those weird reality show type things where they put you guys all in a hotel room for, even if it's just for the weekend, you know what I mean? So you can bounce ideas off each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get a little camaraderies, rivalries, you know.
Sure.
That would be, because I just kind of wonder how that goes. And again, most of you guys are either friends or become friends, I would think. You know?
Absolutely.
To a certain extent, you're going to probably be tracking the other 9 artists for the rest of, as long as you do this, probably, right? Yeah.
For sure.
Just
and
subconsciously, if anything, you know?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I see them pop up on my socials all the time.
Like, oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh, hey, yeah. But I mean,
it's almost like being blood brothers and sisters. It's weird. It's crazy.
Yes.
Well, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Eventually, I believe, it was John Hope, one from the guys, and Kate Watson, from the ladies, and both did a great job performing at the award ceremony. I guess, who are you the most worried about? Who did you think would win if it wasn't going to be you?
Honestly,
You just kind of put anybody's.
I thought it was anybody's game.
Yeah.
I mean, both John Hope and Kate Watson, I thought they were great. Honestly, I thought everyone that was on there did a really great job, and all of their songs were that either they wrote or someone else wrote for them. I mean, all the songs that were showcased, and the vocals and musicianship, or that's not the word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, just the skill set that each of them showed was very admirable.
Well, like we said at the event, we were Team Allora, so we wanted you to win, but everybody there was deserving, so it was a great time. Now, and again, maybe you dodged a bullet, maybe maybe you had a big freak out. I know I would have had a freak out going on to that stage.
We'll never know. We will never know.
I'm glad we didn't win now either, too, because I was like, what do I go there? I'm just shaking and freaking out. Because it was quite a production. Now that said, great timing, because you're getting out there, you're pressing the flesh, you're getting your name out there, and you do have a brand new song. So we've talked about San Antone whenever we released it. We did a quick phone interview about it, but let's go ahead and talk about, I guess, the backstory on the recording and the release of San Antone now.
Right. So last year, during my junior year, I'm a senior now, getting ready to graduate in a month.
Wow, that's crazy.
But last year, I was amidst touring colleges and getting ready to send applications and whatnot. And I was on the phone with one of my buddies from Nashville, Lance Carpenter. And he and I were just talking about all the changes coming about, and we're like, you know what, we should write a song about this. So we got together and we wrote San Antone together. And obviously I grew up in Hondo, and so we were an hour from San Antonio, and so we called the song San Antone.
Well, and when you live in Hondo or Uvalde,
and
someone says, where are you from? You pretty much say San Antonio.
You're pretty much San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're San Antonio? Yeah, that's
yeah.
So very cool. So definitely a personal...
very personal song. I mean, just there's some lines in there that just directly describe some moments of my growing up, and I mean, it was such a cool song to write, and I was so happy that I got to write it with Lance. He's awesome. And the recording process was also really fun. We booked Arlen Studios, which is out of Austin, and that was so fun. That was so much fun. My producer, Bo DePina, and Gus Alvarado, they were great. I'd known them for a long time, and they were able to put together a really great group of musicians. And we invited them out to our place in Fredericksburg to rehearse before we got into the studio. And that was probably one of my favorite parts of the deal, was just getting to jam out just enjoy the music.
Now, and that is actually more rare than you might think, because a lot of these studio guys, they just show up and knock it out, right?
Yes.
So having the opportunity to kind of flesh things out ahead of time is actually, I want to say novel, but it's not. It doesn't happen all the time.
It doesn't happen very often. I mean,
so you had an opportunity to develop a little bit of chemistry.
Oh yeah, and we all had each other's phone numbers by the end of it, and we were posting pictures on Instagram.
That's awesome.
And so it was fun, and just to be able to get to develop those relationships. I mean, even the sound engineers that were in there that, you know, have done so many hundreds, even thousands of records before, just to even call them my friends and be around them and see how much the music influenced them. That was so cool. And so just being part of that experience was also fun.
Well, it sounds like it was a wonderful experience, and it's going to be obviously a great memory for the rest of your life. Again, you're still so, not to keep focusing on this, but you're still so young, and to have a song like this especially, which I feel like is definitely kind of like a like a time capsule, I think, for what you're going through now.
Yes.
That, I mean, you know, regular kids have yearbooks, you know, and the autographs and whatnot, but you're going to have this like single that went to
and
radio.
then there's me.
And like you said, in a month, to put this in perspective, you know, in a month you're graduating, you're basically on tour right now, essentially, you know, where other kids are picking out, you know, what they're going to wear, or what, you know, ordering their tux or whatever it is, you know. You're you know, doing the weekend warrior thing and playing gigs all over the state.
I mean, I haven't even planned a graduation party, so I'm like, I am flying by the seat of my pants.
Which gets back to that old soul girl vibe, right? So again, Allora Leonard's here. She's performing here in in a few minutes. So we're gonna wrap this up. Let's go and do the new single. Oh, you know what? I gotta cue it up now that I'm thinking about it. I didn't do that yet. So check it out. This is San Antone. This is Allora Leonard, and this is UvaldeRadio.net.
Last night I was thinking, watching that sun sinking, distant church bells ringing. Lord, I'll miss this place. Waking up before the break of dawn, feed the horses, throw a saddle on, hearing mama yelling, don't belong. I held freedom in those reins. There's gonna come a day when I pack my stuff into my dad's old trunk, and I watch them
Texas Country at the Crossroads with Robert Miguel, featuring the best country music from the Lone Star State. Live from Uvalde, Texas, the crossroads of Texas and America.
Alrighty, we are back. We are live at Broadway 830 100 East Main Street, downtown Uvalde. We got the Texas Country at the Crossroads interview going on right now with Miss Allora Leonard, and she's going to be performing here in just moments. The crowd's already getting pretty full over here at Broadway tonight. Of course, it's Good Friday, which has only gotten better since Allora's here in town for the first time in Uvalde, and I think it's their big oyster special night. So I should have some information about that. But I think it's their Oyster Fest in honor of like Easter and Lent and all that stuff. I don't follow any of that stuff. but I believe it's Oyster Night tonight, so that'll be kind of cool. And of course, they do have some awesome drink specials. Getting back to the music, we just heard Alora's new single called San Antone. So far, being well received by radio. Tell me how is the traction so far as getting the word out there? You're here, also in promotion of the new single. How's it going so far?
It's going good. I mean, we released it 3 weeks ago almost, so I mean it's brand spanking new, and with that release we put out a music video with it, and that was really truly that was the first music video that I've ever done, and so that was fun getting to do that. I mean so far, I mean I don't know who told me this today, but someone said that San Antone's the second fastest growing single on Texas radio right now.
Wow, very good.
Don't quote me on that,
Yeah,
but I think that's what I heard. So I think it's starting to gain some traction, and it's starting to get up there on the chart, and we'll see what it does.
I think I was reading the T3R, they do the weekly blast, and I believe it had was in one of the most added categories, I believe.
I think it was somewhere in there, but I mean it's starting to gain some more traction,
and it's a great song, and it makes sense because you, like you said, we pressed the flesh at the awards show.
Yes.
A lot of people got a chance to see you and hear your name, so it is a great song. Very. What I really like about what you do is, you're sounding like you can, you can fit in with that Nashville sound a little bit, but you definitely have a Texas country sensibility to what you're doing.
Sure.
And you really do have, I want to say like a 90s ladies country voice. That's kind of cool. I wonder, Emily, like what's going to happen, because you got so far to go still. I mean, you're 17 years old. It just blows me away, man. That's not crazy. So.
Yeah.
So again, we are so excited to have you here in Uvalde for the first time performing. Again, like I said, you've been here before in town, and it's great to have you here at Broadway 830. So
yes.
For those who have not had a chance to see you yet, we've had the pleasure of seeing you at Graff Ranch do your thing, and I know it's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
But give our listeners just a little bit of an idea as what they can expect tonight.
Well, I mean, I'll play some covers, anywhere from George Strait to Etta James or Fleetwood Mac or any of that. So I mean, you'll definitely hear some covers tonight, but you'll also hear lots of my original music like Old Soul Girl and San Antone. So just expect some good music.
Now, you've got a really sharp merch table. I've always liked this about your production.
Thank you.
You got a great little sound system going on there. But let's talk about some of that merch, man. You can go ahead and sell. So you got CDs, you got T-shirts, you got koozies, right? You got everything, right?
We got everything ready. Lots of Old Soul Girl T-shirts and caps and CDs. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So if you want it, come get it.
So I mean, you've got a really, I guess what I'm getting at is you've got a really kind of a pro thing going on here. Is that mom and dad really kind of just making sure they got the best for the little baby girl, or what?
They definitely helped me out with some of that, but I mean,
not to say that you're not capable, but, but you are a minor. You're 17. You're a high school girl, right?
I'm still in high school, and so I've been blessed with how much they support me and really want me to succeed. And so they've definitely helped me out with some of that.
And they're investing in you, obviously,
sure.
right? So yeah. So how much? And they're over there, and so I want to shout out, but they're a few tables back, might get awkward. So what's it like as far as again, being a young lady on the road? You're on the road with mom and dad, and what's that experience? I mean, I feel like how cool would it be to make those kinds of memories with your folks? I don't have parents that are cool enough to have ever let me do something like that, or maybe I'm not talented enough either. But there's got to be a certain amount of like, oh my gosh, mom and dad, roll your eyes. Also, but there's also got to be a certain amount of, wow, this is cool, getting to go from city to city, show to show.
Oh yeah, I mean it's great that I have the opportunity to make memories like this with my parents. I mean, my mom and I, she started training horses ever since she was probably my age, And so she and I have always shared a passion for that, and I've always been out on the road and shared great memories with that. But my dad has always had a love for music, and so has my mom. And so to get to share that experience with them has been really, really great. And I appreciate their support so much, because I know I've met some musicians that haven't been able to have that support. And so to have that is really a blessing.
And I think that and this is just an observation I just thought of right now, is that most parents, the idea of having their kid on the road going city to city is kind of like,
Playing
wow,
in
no,
bars.
that's just crazy. But being that you kind of have that rodeo life, that's very similar to what you guys do. And you're already,
Sure,
from a kid,
you're already on the road.
yeah, you were going
Yeah.
city to city.
Yeah.
Just the difference is now you're entertaining in a different way as opposed to competing in front of other
Sure.
people too. So
Yeah.
so it is kind of very similar.
It
so
is.
yeah,
It
interesting.
really is.
Well,
Yeah.
very cool. Well, thanks to the Leonards, for making you or allowing you to get out here and showcase your talent, get you out here to Uvalde again for the first time. Y'all come out and see Allora Leonard performing here at Moments. Matter of fact, the more I talk, the less time she has to rock. So I'm going to go and wrap this up. Go ahead and give us all the information on how to find you online and whatever other new news you got going on. That we
Yeah,
need to know about.
certainly. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You can look up Allora Leonard Music on any of those platforms. That's ALLORA, Allora Leonard Music. And you can also find me on my website, AlloraLeonardMusic.com.
All right, everybody go find Allora and go see her tonight here on the patio. It's filling up, so you got to get on here pretty quickly. So it's going to be standing room only very, very soon. And again, it's oyster night tonight, apparently, at Broadway. So come out
some
here,
oysters, yeah.
have some oysters or some artisan pizza and a really great craft beer. So not you, Allora, you cannot have any beers tonight.
No, just tell me how it is.
Okay, we'll tell you. All right, that's going to wrap it here for Texas Country at the Crossroads. Going to leave you guys with a brand new track by Curtis Grimes. It's called Ain't Worth the Heartache, and this is UvaldeRadio.net.
He slapped me on the back, said, son, it'll be alright. There's always a bright side to every low in life. And all of that emotion that was flowing through your pen turned every song to gold to win the album of the year. But he don't know the way I feel about her. And I bet old Hank would tell him the same, that it ain't worth the heartache, it ain't worth the pain, it ain't worth the money made, and it ain't worth the fame. I could write a novel, fill up every page with everything I'd take back, but it wouldn't change a thing. To see your smile, I'd trade it all today, 'cause it ain't worth the heartache. When that needle drops, it's like a dagger on my heart. Gets my mind to going back to the time it tore apart. If I knew where I was headed or what I'd leave behind, I'd turn that truck around, spin it right there on a dime. And I'd never think twice to looking back, 'cause it ain't worth the heartache, it ain't worth the pain, it ain't worth the money made, and it ain't worth the fame. I could write a novel, fill up every page with everything I'd take back, but it wouldn't change a thing. To see your smile, I'd trade it all today, 'cause it ain't worth the heartache. She's more precious precious than that platinum on the wall. And that vinyl won't replace all it costs, 'cause it ain't worth the heartache, it ain't worth the pain, it ain't worth all the money made, and it ain't worth the fame. I could write a novel, fill up every page with everything I'd take back, but it wouldn't change a thing. To see your smile, I'd trade it all today. I'd hang it up right now and walk away, 'cause it ain't worth the heartache. No, it ain't worth the heartache.